Grijalva of Arizona is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before coming to Congress, I served 20 years on a school governing board in Southern Arizona, one of the largest, most diverse districts in the state. I worked directly with parents, teachers, and students every single day. I know firsthand how critical parent engagement is to student success. But I also learned something else just as important. Public schools exist to serve all students. They are not vehicles for political agendas, nor are they spaces where perspectives can be erased simply because they make some uncomfortable. The Supreme Court's decision, Mahmoud v. Taylor, was narrow. It does not give politicians permission to micromanage classrooms, override professional educators, or turn public schools into the latest front in a culture war. Framing this federal overreach as consistent with returning education to the states is plainly contradictory to the majority's own stated agenda. Federal government overreach is the opposite of local control. At the same time, we cannot ignore the broader context. Instead of investing in students and strengthening public education, some are pushing to dismantle the Department of Education and privatize our own public school system. These efforts do not empower families. They exacerbate existing inequalities, weaken accountability, and put our most vulnerable students in greater risk of being left behind. Our responsibility is clear. We must ensure students learn in a safe, welcoming, well-funded schools where curiosity is encouraged, facts are taught honestly, educators are respected, and every child has a real opportunity to succeed. My question will be to Mr. Rothschild. Is there a limiting principle in Mahmoud? Are we on a slippery slope where schools will find themselves overwhelmed with opt-outs that the curriculum will be erased to the lowest common denominator as to what is taught?
I think that concern that you have voiced is a legitimate one, and is one that was articulated by none other than Justice Alito in 2021, where in a concurrence in Mahanoy, which involves social media and free speech for children, for students, he said the following. He said, "Parents are not required to enroll their children in a public school. They can select a private school, and they may also be able to educate their children at home. By enrolling a child in a public school," he went on to say, "the parents have impliedly consented to delegating some of their parental authority to the public school."
Thank you. What are the failures of the Mahmoud decision, in your opinion? What did the majority opinion get wrong?
Well, the majority opinion essentially rewrote previous precedents, claiming that it was just applying them. It restructured the way religious liberty works, even in prior eras, which the Supreme Court has claimed it's simply resurrecting. Religious liberty has classically meant that if an individual has an opposition to doing or not doing something that is required of them by the government, they can invoke the Free Exercise Clause. But here, the right, as it is framed by Justice Alito and Mahmoud, is a right to unfettered control over the moral shaping of your child, even when you have opted to send your child to a public school.
What I think is really interesting is that every school district has their own governing board that is duly elected. Those decisions should be made by those that are elected from that community. My concern, and one that I've pondered quite a few times while I've been in this room, is that the Republican Party, from what I understand, is the party that wants things to go back to the local level. But then when it's something that's an inconvenient truth, we tend to stick our nose in and try to rewrite federal. I want us to continue to support our duly locally elected school districts to make decisions about school curriculum. Every single curriculum that is taught in our public schools is open in Arizona to anyone who wants to, and they have the option to opt out, and we should continue to push those kind of initiatives. Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you.